What's good YouTube, Target here and welcome to another episode of City of Garden scenario. In the last episode we have built this road layout that will be the main area for our IT clusters, our main office buildings and also commercial buildings, and today I think we can finally start having some fun and place some buildings on this location. So let's just start working on that. Alright, so the first thing that I should do is play a bit with my districts. I wanna start making a district on this area. So one of the things that I'm gonna do is probably expand this district that will cover this area over here up to this avenue, and all of this will be a gigantic district just for offices. So I'm gonna start drawing the district and I will meet you in a second. Alright, now that the district is drawn, we can start applying some policies. So let me see. I will definitely want this to be a... okay, it's not over here. It's in here on the district specialization. And I want it to be an IT cluster. I also want it to be a place for the, where is it, organic and local produce. As usual, because we need these type of buildings to get the achievement and beat the scenario. And finally I will also want the self-sufficient buildings, as usual. Okay, so that will be pretty okay. I think the only new stuff in here is the IT cluster, so that will be fine. And before I even start zoning anything in here, there's something else that I will want to mention. So on the last episode, if you've seen the last episode, you've also seen that I have this district in here, zone with high-tech housing, but there seems to be no visual differences between these buildings and the normal buildings, the normal organic buildings with without the high-tech housing specialization. So what I think I'm gonna do is actually disable the entire organic buildings in this district, the entire self-sufficient buildings policy on this district, because we do not need the residential buildings to beat the scenario, to get to the objective. We only need the commercial blocks, and therefore we will be able to have some high-tech housing in this part of the city and make things a bit more interesting. So what I think I'm gonna do is go by stages. So I'm gonna pause the simulation and start making a district inside the district. That will be this one. Alright, we now have a district inside the district, and on this district I'm gonna apply the high-tech housing policy, and I'm also going to apply the where is it? The organic and local produce policy. And my plan is to slowly expand this district in here outwards and completely consume the outer district. And so we will slowly but surely expand this new area and get more and more high-tech housing buildings. The reason I'm doing this and I'm not simply removing the organic buildings from this outer district and make everything this zone all of a sudden is mainly because of that. Because I do not want this entire thing to this zone all of a sudden, because you'll have a huge population loss. So I think it will be much better like this. So I'm just gonna resume the simulation and see this entire area develop. Alright, so we now have a few new houses in this block. You can already see the contrast between both districts. And I'm gonna wait until these new houses develop a bit more, and then we can expand the district outwards. And by the way, look at this house. This is a very interesting house. And it also has a matching car. Very colorful. Oh, and look at this vehicle. Ooh. I would love to have this car. But anyway, let's move on. Alright, so we can now start having some fun and place some buildings. One of the things that I have to keep in mind is that the IT cluster buildings are super tall. They are probably the tallest buildings in the game. And the organic and local produce commercial buildings, that is a specialization that I'm going for, are actually very low density buildings. It's this type of buildings in here. So because I'm doing a combination of those types of buildings in this same district, I will have to keep in mind that there will be a gigantic contrast between the office buildings and also the commercial buildings. So I need to plan that in beforehand. So I need to check out exactly where each building type is going to be. And what I think I'm gonna do is place our tallest buildings, the IT cluster buildings, in the central location of this layout, kind of like a nucleus, and the commercial buildings on the outer edge. And it will seem like what do you call it? A fried egg, where we have the densest part in the middle and the lowest density area on the other edges. I don't know, I think it will look out pretty okay, so let's just check it out. But before that, it seems that we have a problem. Okay, let's check out what's going on. I think I get it. When I applied the high-tech housing policy to the new district, I accidentally applied the policy to the entire city and let the game run, and I've only noticed that afterwards. And when I changed the policy back, these buildings were already upgraded to high-tech housing buildings, and now they are complaining about the low land value. So I think that's pretty much the reason. So I think it will be fixed in the downtime, so I'm just gonna keep it for now and we'll check it out later. But anyway, enough talk, let's just start placing some buildings. First and foremost, I want to make a power connection to this area, for obvious reasons, of course. And I think I'm gonna place it to about here. And we can now start placing some office buildings. I'm gonna pause the simulation and let everything grow at the same time. And I want all of these to be offices, this as well, and also this area over here near the highway. That will be pretty okay. And let's just check out how this new layout develops. But first and foremost, I need to apply water to the entire thing before I even forget that, so let's just do it. Alright guys, here we have it, our first IT cluster office buildings. They look pretty okay, but before we even start talking about that, we have a bigger issue on our ends. This is too risky, we might even lose the scenario because of this. When I applied the high-tech housing policy to the entire city accidentally, the land value increased quite a bit and all the residential buildings upgraded to the maximum level. And now that I have took off the high-tech housing policy, the land value decreased again to its original level, and now the maximum level residential buildings are complaining because land value is too low, which is understandable. Now, on the last episode I have mentioned that the high-tech housing policy on the organic buildings didn't do anything to raise the land value, and apparently that is not true. Putting the high-tech housing policy on the organic specialized residential buildings does increase land value, and this is a living proof of that, and hopefully we will not lose the scenario because of this. And as you can see, the land value of this district that had the high-tech housing policy now decreased, and this district, the new district with the high-tech housing policy, does have a higher land value. So yeah, my theory that I have mentioned on the last episode is false. But anyway, yeah, let's just hope we won't lose the scenario because of this. Let's check out our status. So we have an average citizen happiness of 81, which is pretty good for now. Hopefully all these abandoned buildings won't do much to decrease it. And yeah, I think we'll just have to wait until all of these buildings demolish themselves and they rebuild into newer buildings. Yeah, hopefully that will be okay. But anyway, now that we have some brand new office buildings in this location, we can develop this area a little bit. There are no services at all, and as you can see, those buildings are already complaining because there is a lack of buyers and also a lot of crime. So I'm just gonna pause the simulation and work a bit on this area. The first thing that I want to do is actually zone some more commercial buildings. I'm gonna place the high density commercial zones, even though it makes no difference because the organic buildings are all low density. And I am going to make an oval shape that will go around the avenue. And I also want to zone in here, a bit over here as well, and a bit here, and then we'll expand. Actually, we can even dezone this for a bit and go slowly. Expand really slowly, and we will have a round shape that goes around the entire avenue. I think we can even go a bit further and have it come like this. Okay, maybe we can dezone this line and this line and this line. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, so this is 4 units. Let's raise another one so that we have 4 full buildings on either side. This one is pretty okay, but this one needs another line, another 2 lines. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's just resume the simulation and see those buildings develop. Alright guys, so we now have our new commercial buildings being developed. I also provided a new power line because we had no power in this location. But let's start working on a few services. I know that I will want a big police station somewhere around here, but let's just place a small one for now and then we can upgrade it later on. I will also need a big fire station that I will again upgrade on a later stage, and it will be right here next to the police station, and I will upgrade both of these buildings later on. We still have more demand for offices, so we're gonna place a few more blocks. Maybe I'll zone this block over here, so let's just take care of that right away, and also this thing in here as well. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so now one of the things that we can do is just put the game on 3 speed and let these abandoned buildings be destroyed and rebuild themselves, so that we have this issue taken care of before the end of this episode. So I'm just gonna do that and I will meet you in a couple of minutes. Alright guys, so a few minutes have passed and the issue seems to be completely fixed by now. I also manually deleted some buildings myself, and I think the area is now pretty much stable. So yeah, we can now focus on better things. Let's come back to this area, and now that we have a few demand for residential again, we can now expand and start rezoning on this district. One of the things that I want to do is expand this district a bit further, just like I mentioned, so I'm gonna do that right away. Alright guys, so the district is now drawn, but it seems that in the meanwhile we lost some demand for residential, so what I'm gonna do is just zone some commercial instead, and that will give us the opportunity to expand on this area a little bit more. So let's just do that. Let's go by 4 blocks in here, good, and I can also zone this entire thing. By the way, I'm using a measurement of 8 blocks, as you can see here, because 4 blocks is the maximum size a building can be, I'm also gonna zone this entire block. That is good, I do not want anything on the avenue. And maybe we can even expand this a bit more inwards, so I'm gonna put an additional 4 block square on each side of the road. And that will be pretty okay. And I have a random commercial building over here, which cannot be. I do not want any zoning here. Ah, just look at our fully developed high-tech housing buildings. They look pretty cool. I really like this type of buildings. They really look amazing. Like, look at this one. It's like a mansion. This one even has a swimming pool. Amazing. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for today. On the next episode we are going to place a few more services on our new area. I need to place some parks and I also need to extend the public transport network to that location. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a like, it really helps out my channel. Also don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow the development of this city. And finally, if you want to connect with me on social media, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching and as always, have fun.